Hello, my name is Chaz Bailey, and this is Beyond NSU. Today we have another NSU alum, the lovely Miss Lorie McCowan.
Thank you for having me, Chaz.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. So let's just jump right into it. When did you attend Norfolk State, and what was your major?
I attended Norfolk State from 1992 to 1996, majoring in accounting.
Okay, and what brought you here? What was one of the main things that you decided that you wanted to come to Norfolk State?
What brought me to Norfolk State was the former ladies track coach, Coach Laverne Sweat, and the former dean of the School of Business, Dr. Johnny Mapp, had reached out to my parents, and they had inquired about me coming to Norfolk State with the full ride. And as a result of that, my parents and I, we made the decision that Norfolk State would be the appropriate university for me.
Absolutely. So can you tell us about your college experience, and how was that like from freshman all the way to senior year?
So my time at Norfolk State was great. From freshman to senior year, I actually interned every summer. I was on the ladies track team as well as cross country team.
Oh, wow.
I was a member of the one and only sorority Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Absolutely.
And also I was the vice president of the National Association of Black Accountants here on the campus.
So how were you able, I guess in your sense, how were you able to balance all these things and still able to achieve these good grades and do these great things?
So one of the things for me, learning as an early age, my parents had always told me to strive to do my best, always to soar. And so because I had this opportunity where someone had invested in me and paying for my tuition, I had the obligation and the responsibility to really come and obtain that education here at the fine institution. In addition, I wanted to be a whole student, meaning that I wanted to be a student athlete, who was an honor student athlete, I may add, but I also wanted to be able to be in the classroom and to give back in the classroom. Giving back to me was very important. I also tutored for 3 years within the tutoring lab. I tutored students in the accounting. We were majoring in accounting and other business programs.
Absolutely. So in an early age, you felt that you had the proper investments into you. So you decided to, if I'm going to have these investments inside of me, I'm going to pay it back and be the best student I could be.
Yes.
Absolutely. What made you choose the major that you're in, that you did currently?
So it's actually starting out, I was a finance major. I was a finance major for a semester. And then the dean at the time, Dr. Mapp, said, Lorie, you really should consider being an accounting major. I called my parents, talked it over with my parents, and my dad said he's exactly right. My dad said individuals who major in accounting are those individuals who could not pass intermediate accounting. Bit truth to there.
Got you.
And so as a result of that, I changed my major to accounting, and I have loved it ever since.
Absolutely, absolutely. You say you were part of the illustrious AKAs on campus.
Yes.
What made you want to be a part of them, and also what other organizations were you a part of while you were on campus?
So what made me wanted to be a part of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated was growing up, I had teachers that were members of the sorority as well as family members. When I looked at AKs, they were true leaders. They were ahead of the pack. They were very proactive. They were very giving. And that actually, when I looked at myself, it fit my overall stereotype of what an AK would be in a well-rounded person.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so I knew from day one when I walked on the campus that I will become a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha. In addition, I was the vice president of the National Association of Black Accountants, which is the accounting program for the undergraduate. That particular program afforded me the opportunity to intern with GE Capital for 4 summers. It also taught me the appropriate leadership skills. Being the vice president, we were managing the meetings. I was working directly with the dean of the department of the School of Business at that time, as well as the student body members. It afforded me the opportunity to hone in on those leadership skills that I needed to be able to, when I went to the internship, that I would raise my hands like, I'm willing to do this. I can put together this presentation because it had prepared me.
Absolutely. So in any organization, anything you decided to do, you always decided, I'm going to put my best foot forward and obviously try to, if not be a leader, be an integral part in what I'm doing.
That's correct.
Absolutely. In what ways, since you've been back here, and I'm guessing the times you've come outside of homecoming, in what ways have you seen the university change?
So when I walked on campus this weekend, one of the biggest change was all the buildings, the beautiful buildings. In addition, I've seen where the professors that we're having more PhD professors here on the campus, which affords the students the opportunity with they are doing more research. So those are some of the things that I've seen change since leaving the university.
Absolutely.
That has been great.
Absolutely. Is there anything that you would like to continuously see, or something that you want to see happen, or something that you want them to continuously push forward?
Yes. When I think about something to continue to push forward when I look at the universities, it's starting at the freshman class level, going into freshman orientation and speaking to the students about the importance of giving back. As a graduate of this fine university, one of the key things for me is being able to give back. Not only do I have a fiduciary opportunity or responsibility, because I did receive a full ride to Norfolk State, one of the things I have committed to myself that I wanted to be able to have a legacy here at the university. So this past August, I actually created the Lorie McCowan Accounting Endowment. And so with that particular endowment, that endowment would afford students from a single parent home. Even though I grew up with both parents in my home, one of the things I often see individuals coming from a single family home, the struggles.
Absolutely.
And if I can afford those individuals that, if it's that shortfall that they're looking for in order to stay in college, then that's what that scholarship will be to assist those students.
Absolutely. And I think it's very important that you harped on giving back and you harped on helping individuals with lower income homes. A lot of times, those individuals that come from poverty or come from, maybe not a better position than others, they feel they don't have any options, or they feel like no one cares, or they feel like, well, these are the options around me, so I had to go with that. And to have someone like you to just care, that's really that's what most people want, just want somebody to care and love them enough to push them in the right aspect. So I commend you for doing that. And the question I want to lead into that is, a lot of people want to give back, but necessarily think they have to have the biggest platform. What would you say to that? Do you need the biggest platform, or do you just need a mind and attitude to want to give back?
I think you have to have the mind and attitude of wanting to give back. Oftentimes we think about monetary donations. Yes, we need the monetary donation, but we also need individuals' time. So for example, one of the things that I try to do each year when I come back for homecoming is that Thursday that I would actually go in and speak to the students in the accounting department to explain to them the importance of making sure that they are well-rounded students, making sure that they're making the appropriate grades, and also to inform those students that they're not competing against students just here at Norfolk State Universities, that they're competing against students for all the universities here in the United States as well as globally. In addition, we have a responsibility attending an HBCU. We pick up the newspaper or watch the news where our HBCUs are struggling. So each individuals who have attended this fine university, they have obligation to give back.
Absolutely.
And when I say give back, we often want to have that large platform, but you really don't need the large platform. You start off, maybe it's $50 that you're giving back. You're going to commit that I'll give back $50 a year if you just graduated. And then each year you continue to increase that the increment of that giving. And so I would say, it's not only the monetary donation giving back, it's also their time, where they're investing in the students who are our pipeline. Because as we look, these students are going to be the leaders. These are the individuals that I'm going to be relying on for my Social Security.
Absolutely.
And so I need to make sure that these individuals are prepared, they're equipped, and I'm ready to force the real world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't say it better myself. How was your college experience right after you graduated? Did you have some tough hills to climb? Did you have a long period before you found your niche? Can you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, so after graduating from Norfolk State University, I was very fortunate to go work for Deloitte & Touche, a public accounting firm. As I had stated, my major was accounting. I invested in myself when I was here for my 4 years, making sure that I had an internship every summer, that I was setting myself apart from the other peers, whether it was here at Norfolk State or the peers at the other competing universities. So for me, I made sure that I was prepared, that I was equipped with the appropriate tools in my toolbox, and that I had the grades to be able to obtain that career. Because I have not had a job since I've graduated from Norfolk State. I've always had a career.
What advice would you give someone that's in the same field that you would tell them to, I guess, have these keys that you are going to need after graduation? What would some be those things?
For individuals, regardless if you're majoring in accounting or not, some of the key tools that you're going to need to be successful. You're going to have organizational skills. You're going to have timeliness. So that means if your meeting is at 9 o'clock, you don't show up at 9 o'clock.
Right.
You probably need to show up no later than 10 minutes to 9. And so you're prepared.
Absolutely.
Making sure that you've done your homework. One of the things I always say when you're going to work for a company or you're interviewing with a company, make sure you know that company cold, which means that you understand their financial statements, you understand the overall risk that that particular company is facing, you look at how they are competing against their competitors. So making sure you're always prepared.
Absolutely.
And then additionally, I would say make sure you're having fun with it. I always say the motto that I live by is work hard, play hard. So making sure that you're investing, you're doing your work up front, you're learning that particular subject matter. You make sure that you have individuals on your board of directors. And when I think of my board of directors, I have people who are going to be my mentors. And those individuals are going to tell me how it really is, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So then it's up to me to make those appropriate changes. And then since now I'm in corporate America, it's key that I have sponsors. So those individuals are going to go to bat for me. When we're behind closed door meetings, those are the individuals that are going to speak to Lorie and say, we would recommend Lorie for this promotion because this is why.
Absolutely. Can you talk about some of your day-to-day responsibilities as far as what you have to do when preparing for your job and going into making sure everything is on up and up?
Yes. So I'm a executive director for one of the number one banks in the United States. That should kind of give you a hint.
Yeah, I got you.
And so I'm in their internal audit department. So being an internal audit, I'm responsible for various lines of business. So I have to be prepared, meaning that I have to know who my key stakeholders are. I have to understand what those emerging risks are dealing with at various platforms. In addition, I need to make sure that the individuals that are reporting to me, that he or she's trained, that they understand that particular business code. And then in addition, I have to be able to have the appropriate communication skills to be able to communicate out when I'm looking at those issues and risks and how this is overall impacting different companies.
Absolutely. So I want to kind of talk about you, obviously you being a Black woman in corporate America. It's so many uphill battles you have to climb. You got to go 10 times harder than your competition. Have you experienced any of those kind of setbacks, and how were you able to push through it?
Yes, I have. I would say starting off in my career in public accounting, working in Richmond, Virginia, it was a smaller office, and being in the South, there was not a lot of minority individuals working in that particular office, more so women of color. But for me, at an early age, my parents taught me that if you're prepared, then you can survive in any environment. So when those tough environments came, I relied on my mentors. I relied on my sponsors to get me through. But as I continued to progress in my career, I actually developed that platform that I needed, where I had a voice that I could speak up for myself. It wasn't until I would say when I reached that year 15, between that 15-year and 20-year mark, where I felt very comfortable, where I could really stand up for myself. And I would say early on, a lot of students, we're dealing with the millennials now, where we sometimes feel that we know all the answers. I would always say, for one of the things I did, I had a great listening ear, making sure that I listened and I understood before I spoke. And then also, if I was unable to connect all the dots, who were those individuals that I could reach out to? Where was the resource that I needed to go to continue to make sure that I was prepared and equipped to be able to speak on those subject matters? And then another thing is becoming that subject matter expert, becoming where people need you. And so you develop a skill set that people are knocking at your door saying, I need you to come work for me, or I need you to be on my team. So I would say making sure you're always equipped, prepared, understanding the appropriate subject matter, and making sure that you're in control of your own destiny. I worked for GE Capital for years, and when I interned for GE Capital, Jack Welch was the CEO. And one of the things Jack said, you're in control of your own destiny. And to this day, I still believe by that philosophy. You're in control of your own destiny. Will there be hiccups? Yes. But I think when you making sure that you align, you have those appropriate people on your side, then you can actually get through. Has it been easy for me? No. I've had some hurdles that I've had to climb, but with my perseverance and dedication, and I've had great leaders on my side, they've actually helped me to overcome those obstacles that I face.
Absolutely. So you would definitely say it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish and what kind of things you're doing to put yourself in position to finish.
I truly believe that. I just think back when I decided to come to this great institution, when I looked at my parents. Neither one of my parents went to college. My mom worked in retail, my father worked in construction. But one of the things that they really knew, they understood economics. And they understood that they always taught me, we live in a capitalistic society.
Absolutely.
What does that really mean for me? And so from that point on, I made sure every opportunity that I was given, that I took heed of that opportunity. And not only that I take heed of, I was making sure that as I was climbing that corporate ladder, one of the mottos for NABA is lifting as you climb, that I was making sure that I was reaching back and pulling that next person up. So whether that's coming back to the university and talking to the students, whether that's me being in the office and I'm looking at the analysts that are starting, or my direct reports, making sure that I'm positioning those individuals to be successful.
I think that's so vital and so critical, what you said, making sure that you're pulling up people behind because someone helped you.
Yes.
It's important that we, especially as the culture, we realize that we have all the keys we need for us to be successful as long as we are willing to help each other up and pull each other up. So I commend you for that. Sort of a funny question. What was your most memorable moment or moments here at Norfolk State?
Oh, I had a lot of moments. Well, I'll tell you this. One of the moments that it became the laughing joke with Lorie. I would drive to Scott Dozier. I would park in the parking lot. I would get out of my car. I would lock the door, and I had manual locks there. And the car is still running. That was always a laughing joke. The other laughing joke was that when I was on the track team, I was a distance runner. And I have to say that I was larger than most distance runners. But my time was still equivalent to what you would view as a normal distance runner.
Right.
And so my teammates were from Bahamas, Jamaica, Trinidad, and they were always like, come on, ships, Lorie, because we never cursed on the team. It's like, come on, catch up, Lorie. And so it was those moments that I always laugh back, like, I'm going to catch you. Just give me a second. We'll finish a finish line. You'll finish a second before me, but I'll be in second place.
Absolutely.
And then I always remember to turn that car off before I went into the cab.
So it's almost in a sense that you running track kind of helped you prepare for life because, like you said, I may not start out strong, but I'm going to get there eventually.
Yes,
So.
And one of the biggest things about running track, it taught me that life is not a sprint.
No.
It's a marathon. But where the sprinting comes in, there are times you're going to have to speed up, and there are times you're going to have to slow down. And the time is speeding up is that you're going after those promotions. You're going to obtain those certifications. Slowing down is when you've hit those roadblocks. You've hit the detours. And where do I go next?
Absolutely.
And that's when the marathon come in, that I'm in this for the long haul.
Absolutely. You said it over and over and over again. I just want to make sure we touch on it one more time. Giving back. How important is it for you to give back to your alma mater, Norfolk State?
I have a responsibility, as I stated earlier. I received a full ride to Norfolk State, and at that time, it was an investment of $40,000 from someone where those funds came from. And so, like I stated in August, I started the Lorie McCowan Scholarship Endowment for accounting students. It's very important. As I talk to my former classmates or even my sorority sisters, one of the things I always tell them, it's not about how much. It's about that you are giving back. And you start taking baby steps. And so I'll kind of give a little shout out. Hopefully my sorority sisters from Spring 94 won't be a little upset. So we'll be celebrating our 20-year anniversary, homecoming of 2019. One of the things we wanted to do, we wanted to make an impact. We didn't just want to come and wear our T-shirts and have a party. We wanted to be able to give back to the university. So we are committed to giving back $25,000 to the university. And people may say, how are you going to do that? Well, there are 29 of us on that Spring 94 line. We just took 29 divided by 25,000. Little over $800 and some per person.
Right.
And so me being the accountant that I am, I was like, really, it's not that bad, ladies. It's like $38 a month.
Right.
That means giving up a cup of coffee one day at Starbucks.
Right.
Not going to your favorite restaurant maybe once a month. You give that up.
Right.
And so it's just a matter of what's important.
Right.
Because, you know, we would support all the various artists. Well, we may pay $200 for a ticket.
Right.
Give that $200 back to Norfolk State.
Right.
Start today if you're not giving.
Right.
It's about, it doesn't matter how much, it's that you're committed. Because this fine institution made an investment in you.
Right.
They develop you who you are today.
Absolutely.
And so oftentimes I look at some of my former classmates. We've left a great institution and we've gone on to obtain our masters or even PhDs. And we give back to those other schools. And I said, but your foundation,
Right.
where you obtain that foundation
Right.
is Norfolk State. And as HBCUs continue to struggle, it's important that we are, as alumni, that we're giving back. And one of my motto is, I cannot ask for something. I cannot ask for someone to help me if I'm not helping myself.
Right.
And helping myself means giving back to this fine institution.
Couldn't agree more. You sound like you have just a wealth of knowledge and very grounded. Where did that necessarily come from you to be so, steadfast in your approach to life?
It came from growing up on a farm in Goochland, Virginia. And one of the biggest things that I did not want to go work on the farm. And so as a kid, I have 2 sisters and 4 brothers. And so the sisters were always the ones, they did the housework with mom. Well, for me, I didn't want to do the housework. I wanted to be out there with my dad and my brothers working. But being out there on the farm, it gave me the discipline to say, I want options. And that options for me was to come to Norfolk State, to obtain an education, not only obtain an education, graduate with honors at the top of my class, but also making sure that I had obtained employment before graduating.
Absolutely.
And I did. And so as I stated, this fine institution prepared me to go and have a career. I have not had a job since I left Norfolk State. I've had a career.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, again, thank you for just taking the time to come out and give us the wealth of wisdom and knowledge that you have. Is there any final words, final advice you would like to give the Norfolk State family?
I would say, first, thank you for having me this
Absolutely.
morning. And as I look at all the students here in Norfolk State University, our current students, as well as the students in the pipeline, realizing that you're investing in you're investing in yourself, and there are other people investing in you. Those are the ones who are giving you the monetary donations. So you have a responsibility to go to class, make the grades, obtain internships, graduate from this fine institution, obtain a career, and give back.
Absolutely.
As it relates to the alumni, we have graduated from this fine institution. It is our responsibility to continue to support our existing student bodies to ensure that those individuals have the monetary scholarships funds that they need in order to stay in this fine institution. And then the last thing I'll tell the students is making sure that you're having fun, being a well-rounded student, being a student athlete. Oftentimes, student athletes are looking at, they really don't go to class, they don't make the grades. But there's so many student athletes that when I come back, when I walk the halls that I'm so proud of, that they have GPAs, 3.5s and better. And they're not falling in that stereotype of student athletes. So I commend all the coaches and teachers that are making sure that these student athletes are being prepared.
Absolutely. Ms. McCowan, thank you so much for coming out and taking the time to give us this advice and give us this wealth of knowledge that Norfolk State and Norfolk State alums are going to need for the future.
And my last thing I would say, behold the green and gold.
Absolutely. Again, this was Beyond NSU. I'm Chaz Bailey. Thanks for taking the time to check us out.